with Aaron.
I'm just laughing at another week, y'all showing up looking fabulous.
No.
And I'm over here, peppermint patty, rough and brusque.
Where'd it go? Where'd the necklace go?
Wait, ready?
Yes, you got to wear it.
Okay, Saturday for Target.
Beautiful.
It's a change, isn't it?
Round of applause.
That's right. So this week has been tons of highs and tons of lows. I think we're all feeling the low right now.
Yeah.
Just for a whole variety of things. But maybe instead of focusing on the low, maybe we could talk about some highs, because I think the highs will also help maybe lift some of the lows. So what were some maybe high points this week? Can you think of any?
Ricky?
I mean, I felt like this is week 4 of consistency. I set a goal not to step on the scale. I did step on it one time. So I did not meet my goal, but last week it was 2 times. So, I'm going to continue with that goal for next week and maybe I'll be down 0 times. And I was down, so I was happy with that. It's not going as quickly as I would like it to go. I feel like one of the benefits of being at your highest weight is a lot of times you see those bigger numbers the first few weeks, and I'm not seeing that. But I think that is a positive thing in a way, because I am setting myself up for like success and for those positive routines of, I'm not doing anything extreme right now. I'm not changing things to the point where it's not maintainable in the future. Like, this is a routine I plan on continuing when I'm back in my physical school building. I'm going to eat similar lunches, similar dinners, similar breakfast. I'll get more steps, which is nice. But I think in a way it means that I'm maintaining routines that I want to maintain for a very long time. And I want to tell you this. I have not been thirsty like I was before. I'm going to make an appointment with my doctor for September, but fingers crossed, prayers up that I will be out of the pre-diabetic range. And I feel like that thirst was a kind of scary thing, because I was like, this is a physical symptom of it. But I haven't been as thirsty, especially at night. So, okay.
Hey,
Congrats.
Thanks, ladies.
And didn't you post something? I don't know if you posted it in the Facebook group, but you had sent something to me and Aaron. There was a post on the guy who did the video that we talked about last week, did a post about long-term thinking. I don't know if you remember what it was, but it just made me think about what you said about sustainable changes and not taking it, not being focused on losing so quickly, because anybody can be motivated and lose really quickly, but it takes something to change your mindset. I don't remember do you remember what the quote was?
I'm pulling it up right now.
Exactly what he said. Thanks, Aaron. But yeah, I think you summed it up pretty well. Like, it was about how the long-term behaviors are more important than that like quick fix type thing.
Here's it's Jordan Syatt, which we used his video last week. Losing a lot of weight very quickly shows you're motivated, which is great. But to lose weight slowly and keep it off for years while building a healthy relationship with food shows you're learning patience, and habits are more powerful than motivation alone.
Yeah.
Which is true.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we've been doing Weight Watchers for 10 years.
I have a lot of patience.
Okay? I think for me, I've seen that motivation, and every time I'm getting in a rut, I'm always looking for the motivation. And really what I've done is I've just let my habits go away, and I just need to actually get back and building the habits again, because the habits are the things that sustain and maintain for me. So I totally get this. I'm going to read you more of what he added. So that was like his little piece that he dropped in the post there. But then he says, without motivation, we likely wouldn't get started with much at all. But relying on motivation is where most people go wrong. It's not easy to follow the starvation diet or cleanse or detox, but for a brief time, 7 days, 21, 30 days, it's doable. Motivation will help you power through, but eventually your motivation will dwindle from a roaring flame to a dull burn at best. Extinguished, worst, and more likely. And at that point, you'll revert to your habits, what your mind and body knows best. And if you haven't spent time creating new, healthy, sustainable habits, you'll go back to what you did before, usually until you undo all the progress you just made and then some, and you get another boost of motivation, sick, tired, disgusted, to try again. So listen, don't get wooed into the quick fix or rapid results 7-day solution. They rarely work and almost always do more harm than good. Take your time, be patient. This isn't a race. There's no need to rush, so relax. Take deep breaths, give yourself some leeway, give yourself room to breathe and make mistakes, because mistakes will happen and that's okay. It's part of the process. By planning to make mistakes all along the way, you eliminate the guilt you get when you go off track. And when you eliminate guilt, you eliminate the binges and the feelings of failure that keep you from getting back on track. So listen, take it slow. You've got all the time in the world. There's no finish line. There's no race, just time. So take your time and enjoy it. I feel like there's a race and I feel like there's a finish line. And I'm the person holding the gun going, start your race.
I've been focusing, as well as Ricky, on not stepping on a scale during the week. And I noticed something amazing that I have not felt. This week I didn't feel the desire to step on the scale. And I think it is something related to that. There's no race. There's no finish line. I'm really trying to embrace that as I'm looking to track things that are not, or to focus on things that are not the scale. And I'm noticing the mental shift because while I did step on the scale today, because it's weighing day, I'm trying to make it as important as, like I said, my daily blood pressure checks or my water. How much water am I drinking? Am I getting my fruits and veggies? It's just another data point. And when you eliminate the race, which I've always been trying to get to somewhere by a certain time. I want to get to Wonderland by the end of the year. I want to get here by this time. And it seems innocent enough, but it's pressure. It's pressure that I've been putting on myself that can then translate into unhealthy habits to make it happen. So I really enjoyed the break from the scale as much. And I never would have thought I would have been a person who said that. Like, that's major for me. So I just wanted to say that I really do think that it is that race mentality and letting go of having to be somewhere by some time. Because why? What is it that you get? You don't get a medal. And I'm all about the Bravo stickers, and you don't get one if you hit it by a certain time.
I wish that I was where you were right now, because I feel the race, and I feel right now that I have a finish line. And right now for me, it feels like I am under pressure to hit it because I'm up these 10 pounds. I go see my endocrinologist. My cholesterol is up. I need to get the cholesterol down. Sooner I can get that down, the better. My endometriosis is flaring, and that's because the more fat cells you have, the more estrogen gets trapped in your fat cells. So the quicker I can lose the fat cells, i.e. the fat, my endometriosis can get under control sooner. Like, I feel like I've got all of this pressure to do these things for my health, but I am getting nowhere fast, no matter how much I run, no matter how much I'm tracking. And I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm in perimenopause now. Maybe I've hit that place in my life where I'm coming up, I'm 1 year away from 40. And they say everything goes downhill after 40. And so I'm on my 39th year, and I now have 10 months. 10 months before
it's all downhill from there.
Right.
But Erin, this week, didn't you also meet some amazing milestones with or at least have some numbers that were really close to your highest or quickest pace when you were walk/running?
Yes.
You've had so many things that are non-scale related, and again, talking about those other forms of measurement, I know those numbers are going to be really important when you see your doctor, but Do you think focusing on measurements too, since you've upped your activity, might be helpful?
No.
Well, I appreciate your honesty.
I mean, yes, they would be, but no, because it's not the measurement I want. And I'm just being poopy about it.
Yeah.
So how do you feel when you don't, because, you know, we've done this isn't our first rodeo. And so this isn't the first time we've made goals for ourselves to have time goals, or we want it by a certain time frame. How did you feel? I feel so Dr. Philly. I told you my Dr. Phil. How did you feel when you tried to hit a goal by a certain time and you didn't, you know? But seriously, how did it make you feel? Like, because that's what I felt horrible, you know, when I didn't. And then I wanted to stop. But I so relate to what you're saying. It's so hard to get out of that cycle. It's not easy.
No, you can't stop. That's the thing too, is like, you can't stop. I can't stop. Because look at me now.
Yeah.
Because the alternate is to go back to who or where I was, which is continuing the unhealthier version. You know, the whole thing where I wish I was as skinny as I thought I was when I thought I was fat, you know, like I wish that I was. I'm mad. I'm mad because it's not budging right now. And I'm doing everything right. But I also know the good things that I'm doing for myself. So I'm not mad about, and I'm not going to stop getting out and running, and because I need them. I just want the scale to daggone move.
But that's a major thing you just said, Erin. I hope you don't forget it. The fact is that you're not sabotaging everything. You're not doing an all or nothing. And I think
I only have 10 months until I turn 40, and then I have to start buying wrinkle creams.
This is true, but you could have, right? You could have said, forget running, right? Because the scale isn't doing what I needed to do, which is what I've done. Because again, if I ate a piece of cake, what's the point of exercising? Which is, they don't correlate, but God, I understand. I know what you mean. And I understand, especially when it's something health related or a milestone. It is not easy to break that mindset. And you can say all the right things, but we still feel it. And we hang up, and then we still are in our place of processing it. So I really don't know what the answer is, but I understand. God, I understand that.
I mean, some of it'll too, I'm sure, will be like some mental, it's mental breakthrough parts of it. But it is, I just want to see the scale change. Like, I know the minute I see the scale change, because that has such a mental impact. The minute I see that change, I know brain wise, that'll make me feel better. But I also know that I can't rest all of my feelings on that piece. I totally know it. Intellectually, I know it. I just need that to happen. I want that to happen, because that's ultimately what I'm working towards. You know, Weight Watchers can say all it wants about working on mental health and whatnot, but as long as the amount of money that you pay every month is tied to what your weight is, it's always going to be about the weight. That's always going to be the measurement. And I'm okay with that. I mean, that's why I'm doing Weight Watchers. That's why I've been doing Weight Watchers for so long. It's the only thing that's ever helped keep me in control. Even when I have my ups, even when I've got my lows, it's never what it was before, where it was the extreme weight and I stay there each time and then work hard and then it would creep back up. It's the only time I've ever been steady. So I'm glad for the work that I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad for the running. And the thing is to me, the walking and the running, that actually doesn't, mentally for me, it's just exercise. It's just something that I do for myself. I don't even think about it. Physical exercise should never be punishment for the foods that you ate, right? So I've adapted my thinking into how exercise plays along my journey. To me, it's almost separate from the food piece now. So
I wanted to go back to something you mentioned, though. It's really, hard to think about, this system that WW has and goals. Even as a teacher, we have SMART goals. We have goals that we are supposed to achieve. And part of that is time. But with weight, it's like, does it make sense to always have these goals on a timeline? Because like you were saying, like if you don't hit it at a certain point, you put so much pressure on yourself to hit it. And then if you don't, it doesn't mean that you're never going to get there. It doesn't mean that you weren't doing everything right. It's just a timeline. So should the focus be less on the when, not to say, again, like not to say I should be at the same weight for 10 years or I should be like, should there be a different focus on time and more of a focus on I've been doing these healthy patterns for this amount of time versus I'm at this specific weight that, you know, like I think I mentioned this last week, but the BMI chart says for my height, I'm supposed to be at a certain weight. But I remember when I was in high school, I was maybe 170 something, 180 something, which was well above the 125. It said I should have been 5'4". I would have looked like an Olsen twin, like if I had gotten down there, and that's not my goal. So it's like we can't go off of those metrics either. We have to go. So I guess the point of what I'm saying is like some of these timelines and goals that we give ourselves might not always be realistic, but how can we frame them in a way that we are setting ourselves up for success?
Yeah.
But I also think I think it could also be a form of torture, like self-torture a bit. Like it's like, you know that it is something that you shouldn't do. Like I know that we've been doing this a while. They talk about time goals forever, yet I always seem to want to put the pressure on to do it by Christmas or the new year or whatever. And I think it's a form of self-torture. Like I think it's almost, I prefer to feel upset with myself, like subconsciously. I prefer to always be disappointed and to never feel like I'm doing the right things, you know? And so and that's why I went to therapy, because if I am still doing, what's the definition of insanity? Like you said, you know, what is it? Doing the same thing over and over again. And I'm like, no, but this time it's different because I'm only going to ask for 1 pound a week. So that's like healthy, right? And then the scale goes up and I'm like, what's the point? Where's the chips? I mean, it's very much a form of self-loathing. And if you can recognize that, if I can call it what it is, I want to be disappointed, because letting go of it is the healthier thing to do, but I don't do it.
Right.
And I think we've talked about the sabotage piece before, and going along with that, I think giving yourself that deadline, that strict, hard deadline, gives yourself, and again, I'm not speaking for everyone, but I think for me, sometimes it gives myself the opportunity to sabotage myself. So if I have one instance of like, oh, I ate this bad food, going back to what we talked about 2 weeks ago, you know, I have this bad food that I had, I feel bad, so therefore I do more bad things in the form of binge eating or eating something I shouldn't eat, or too much of something, or not tracking enough. And then I get to a point where it's like that timeline has made it unattainable, so I'm going to continue sabotaging. So and I don't know why, but I think there is a fear piece of, well, what happens if I am successful? I still have to lose more weight. I still have to face all these other fears. So yeah, that makes it challenging.
Sometimes it's easier just to stay where you are, because at least you know, you would know what that is. Yeah. I just like to get back to where I was. I thought that was okay there. There was no fear there. But yes.
Another thing you said, Erin, too, and I can relate to, I know, Candace, I feel like you've said the same thing, but like, how do you, when you get to that point where you're smaller, how do you let your mind know that you're there? How does your mind catch up? Because I know, you know, a few years ago we did this, or gosh, it was maybe 7 years ago, we did this Jingle Bell run, and Erin was talking about that the other day, because we did that Jingle Bell run in Centennial Lake. And looking back at the pictures, I was so much slimmer. I was still at a weight that would be considered well overweight, but I was a lot slimmer. And looking at the picture, I'm like, I would give anything to be back there. But I know what my mindset was like then. I looked at that number on the scale. It told me it wasn't good enough, and I felt huge. And if that perspective of like, no, how could I have told myself then, you're on the right track, keep doing what you're doing, like you're fit, even though the scale says you're not fit. How do we talk to ourselves in a way that we're lifting up those positive statements to ourselves so we don't get to the place where we're gaining that weight back and then some, because that's the situation I'm in.
How do you see yourself in the moment, the way that, you wish you, because I did that. I took a picture for my birthday, and it reminded me kind of what you were talking about with the picture from the race and what you're saying, Ricky, where I was like, oh, I look really good there. Gosh, that was so long ago. But it was like last week, maybe 3 days ago, but I can't even process in the moment that I look a certain way, and I can be proud in the moment. I'm always striving for something that's later. Mm-hmm. And I feel sadness when I look at things and don't I want to look at that girl and say, why can't you recognize how great you are right now? Mm-hmm. Like how much progress you've made right now, because when you get further away from it, you're like, I wish I had appreciated where I was. Mm-hmm. And it's the mental trick. I don't know why. It's like an addiction to unhappiness. It's an addiction to being unsatisfied. Mm-hmm. And not being able to see ourselves for who we are. So I really resonate with that, Ricky. I understand.
I remember when I was at my heaviest and prior to joining WW, because I was just unhappy with everything about myself, everything about my life. I was just going like, I've got this amazing job. Why do I hate everything? And I just didn't like where I was in life because my expectations that I have for myself weren't being fulfilled. And it was making me into this really angry, bitter person. And I just went, I've got to change. I have to change this. There's nothing wrong with this situation. It's me. That's the problem. And owning up that I'm the problem was a big thing. And then going, I need to start treating myself like I like myself, because I can't expect anybody else to treat me like they like me if I don't even treat myself that way, because I set the example for how I want to be treated, what I will accept and what I won't accept, right? Mm-hmm. And I started then kind of doing that thing, and that even meant I went and got a new wardrobe too. Mm-hmm. And for me, that was even just trying to tell myself that I was pretty or felt pretty or do things that made me feel good about myself. And when I got myself like to that place, then I started working on that weight piece, because it was like, okay, this is what's holding me back from being the best version of myself. It's my thoughts about myself regarding to my weight. So I need to change that piece of it. And then that's when I joined White Watchers and started working on that. When I look back on the pictures of myself at my heaviest weight, what I now see, I don't see disappointment anymore. I see a girl who knew that she needed to make some changes in her life, and she started making those changes. So where somebody else might look at the picture and see like, whoo, look at her. I look at it and go, look at her. She knows that she needs to make some changes, and she dug in and made those changes for this version here. And then when I remind myself when I'm out running, even though I know I'm frustrated with the scale, I am putting in the effort for the next version of myself, whatever she may look like, because I do want to be able to look on the pictures now. And even though I may not necessarily look the way that I want to see myself in the pictures, I at least look and go, I know she went to the track and she just got her best running time that she's had in a long time, mm-hmm. right? Like I am training myself to see the success in myself, mm-hmm. if that makes sense. And that doesn't mean like I was looking at pictures from 2017 when I was 15 pounds lighter, and I'm like, dang, man. But I can't be mad at myself right now because I know that I'm putting in the effort. I can't be mad at I can never be mad at someone when they're making a conscious effort to do the next right thing. Because I got to extend that same grace to myself that I would extend to someone else. I have to. That would be hypocritical of me to not do that.
I think what you're saying is kind of an answer to what we were talking about before. Like, how do you tell your other self, like, you're okay where you are now? I think having that grace with yourself, like you were saying, where you are now, even though I'm saying you, but you know, the just general you.
I need that scale to move, Ricky.
I know, I'm with you. I need
Real
to
talk.
move you. Yeah. But I think that is an answer to how we can prevent our future selves, or that future self we're talking about, from hating where she is then. Because
Right.
I could get to a point where I lose 50 pounds and I still look at myself and say, that scale, that BMI is telling me I'm still, overweight. I'm still not good enough. But if I have grace with myself in that moment, and if I appreciate where I am in the moment, I think that sets me up. And now, if I do that now, I think that sets me up to have that same attitude in the future. And I think same thing for you, Erin. I think it's a good attitude to have grace with yourself and be kind to yourself.
And I think it goes back to there's a homework assignment that my therapist gives me every single week. And every week I don't understand why she keeps it on the list. And it's self-affirmations. And I was like, okay, that's very nice. Who cares? I love myself. I'm great. I'm a good person. And she's like, but she asked me, why do you always say it in that tone? She's like, why is it always? She's like, you're not buying into it, but there's a method behind the madness. What you constantly are saying to yourself internally is really the point. She's like, you have a negative loop going on in your mind, and you naturally are just going towards, I'm not good enough. This is this. I need to change this. I'm not okay. And she said the purpose of self-affirmations and positive affirmations and making that a part of your daily life is to speak that grace and that truth to yourself. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm proud of myself for walking today. I made a good choice this morning because I had some tea instead of whatever. Those things that make you feel good, and saying it out loud. And I put off the homework assignment. I just never really had embraced the assignment. And she said, why are you so afraid to do this? Why is this something that you are putting off and that you minimize? And I'm recently been trying to do it every single day. And I think it plays into what we're talking about, which is speaking those positive things over ourselves and about ourselves in the moment, and not reserving it for a future version of ourselves, or thinking about it from a past version, oh, I was so great 2 years ago, or I'll be so great when I finally get to goal. I'm great right now.
Well, for all three of us, because our faith is an important thing to us. You even saying that like just triggered a verse, because I'm clearly not doing anything that this thing is telling us to do, at least in this moment. But it's a Bible verse, and it says, fix your thoughts on what is true, honorable, right, pure, lovely, admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. And then it goes on, like, keep putting into practice everything that you learned from me. It's Apostle Paul talking, and everything you heard from me and saw me doing. And then the peace of God will be with you. So it is true. The things that we think about
manifest,
make a difference. It makes a difference. Yeah. And I'm not thinking about holy things about that scale.
But how could you? I mean, I think let's just real talk.
Yeah.
As we said last week, when I was lamenting over my 0.8 loss, you know, the scale has been the thing that tells us if we had a good or a bad week, if we did, you know, whatever it was. It's never any other measure, because that's just not what it's been. So I think we just have to be real about the fact that that's a tough thing to break away from when society, the program that we follow, which we're fine with, I get it, but that's the way that you get your charm. That's the way that you get your applause. That's the way that you are told you're great. People post the number. They don't say, I went for a run today. They said, I lost 50 pounds. Give me my charm. I lost 25 pounds. Give me my charm. You don't, you know.
And they used to, this just occurred to me, they used to have a way for you to track your measurements and your clothing size in the WW app for, you know, when it was Weight Watchers. And that's how I used to track it. Now I have to track it on paper, and I'm sure there's some app I could download to do it. But even taking that out of the app kind of makes a statement to me. I don't think it's intentional on their part at all. And again, I definitely second what you say, Candace. Like I do support the program. I think it's a great program, but one of my things would be, why take that other metric out? And the water tracking is back. That was gone for a while. The healthy fruits, we've been talking about that for years. Like fruits and vegetables. Like I need to have some type of check mark to tell me I'm doing this thing right, because I'm certainly, you know.
And it would give you a smiley face now. It would give you a smiley face at the end.
It did.
Okay.
Now listen, they just redid that app. It didn't put none of that in there. So once again, they just went boop. They went boop to you.
Forget your fruits and veggies. Get your sleep.
Yeah. And so this is just, I know I started out saying let's focus on some highs, but I'm glad we focused on
kind of went in there
really fast.
It was the roller coaster. We're here and boom, right now.
It was a great week, but you know.
Oh yeah, I am. I'm mad because I probably shouldn't even got on the scale midweek, because midweek I was down 3 pounds, and now I'm back where the same thing as last. And I'm glad that I haven't gained. I'm still where it was last week. That's fine. It's just not moving me closer to the goal. And as a person who is goal oriented and results oriented, and everything that I do with my job has a beginning, middle, and end. I don't do anything that just kind of floats out. I'm always moving from one thing to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. Everything has a beginning, middle, and end, and everything is super intense, right? Well, this over here is the complete opposite of everything else that I do. And I'm like, well, I control all of this. If it's success, while there is a part of a team, I'm the one pushing for a lot of it. And making sure it happens and gets done. Yet over here, I cannot get this done. I cannot get a check mark. I cannot, there's a fly in my room, FYI, and I have the door closed, so he's just hanging with me. But yeah, I think that's part of it too, is that over here in this one area of my life, I'm the boss. I get things moving and going. Over here, this thing is the boss of me. And I don't like that it's the boss of me. And it shouldn't be the boss of me. And I let it.
Yeah. I'm over here smiling because I noticed something that we all do. And I don't know if there's something to it, but whenever we make a statement that we know is the truth, we say it in a sarcastic way. So Erin, you just did it where you're like, well, because I understand that I had a good week and I did everything right, and I'm like, yeah, I know 0.8 is fine. Ricky's like, yeah, but it shows in a weird way how we minimize those thoughts, and I wonder if we could just sit with that we know how to identify the problem or to identify the issue and to talk about that. But even if we have a little bit of the solution, the way that we say it and our tonality and the way that we embrace it is still in kind of a, I don't want to say dismissive, but more of a, oh yeah, I understand. And I feel that that's something that's there, because it's almost like we have the solution. We know what it is. We know how we need to process it and how we should think about it. But we just don't embrace it. Like truly embrace it, because I think that it would require us to let go of a way that what we've accepted for so long. We have to let it go and say, you know what? I was wrong. I shouldn't, that was not, even though I've been doing this a while, that doesn't work for me anymore. And I need to accept that dismissive thought that I keep saying, yeah, it's 0.8. That's great. No, that's great. That's great. I don't think that we've done that yet. Because I noticed that with how we talk. We give the solution.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
I wonder if it's almost a way of protecting ourselves, from other people. But, because I think, I know for me, I have like someone in my life who I know, if I say I lost 0.8 this week, and I know to myself, like, oh, that's good. It may not be exactly what I wanted, but that person might be like, oh, well, just make sure you keep doing it. Or it might not be, oh, that's it. That's all you lost. I think you can do more. It's like, I wonder if we say things like in that way to almost protect ourselves from either our own disappointment or frustration with what's going on, or from, family members who might not understand that it is that slow, consistent progress that's what's important, not those, I lost 8 pounds this week, So.
That's true.
Very true. Well, I think you're right. I think I do think that it can be. I'm thinking about myself and thinking about the things that I've just said. It can be defensive. It can be a defensive mechanism. Yeah. Yeah, it can be.
Yeah. And like you said, it's understandable if it is, because we've had to be defensive, and I can own that not blaming other people, but I grew up in an environment where I had to be defensive and have my hands up ready to defend, well, it's fine, this is this, and what would happen if I put my hands down, and recognize that, yeah, someone could hurt me, or someone could say, yeah, 0.8, but I'm still okay, and I can process those feelings without having to be so defensive, even with myself, because it's harming me. That's why I'm still, I'm still struggling with it. So it's hard to let it go, but giving yourselves the permission to let it go. It's kind of, we talked about, biblically, it's, do you want to get well? We've said, do you want to get well? And it's no longer serving me to be so defensive or to not embrace what I know to be true. It no longer serves me. It did at one point because I did it, but it no longer does. Isaiah agrees, in case you heard him cooing. He's like, say it, Mama.
So coming up next week, we're going to have the ceremony for Candace's graduation to from therapy school.
I'm so excited. I'll probably be there. Look, I feel like I'm going to be in therapy till I'm like 100. I'll be like, well, this week.
We're getting it free from you, so I'm all about that.
There you go. Just mooch. I'm here to teach everybody what I learned.
So we have about 5 minutes left. So next week, like, what do we want? What do we want out of next week?
I'd like to do the program as it's written. As I said, I think that was my goal last week too. To actually do WW the way it was created and not my version. That'd be great. Okay. Because, paying money for it I just thought it might be nice
Mm-hmm.
to stay within the points budget that they give me, little things.
Okay.
If they say 39 and I eat 52, can't be really upset with the scale. So that's my goal, really, to be intentional about staying within, just doing the program the way it was written.
Awesome. Mine is twofold. I guess I have two little goals. One is to actually 0 times step on the scale instead of last week. So I'm bringing that one back. And I started this week getting up early. So I started my new job. So I want to get in the same routine I'll have when we're actually physically back in schools. So I got up early to do a workout. That's just how I've been. I've always been more successful with that. For me, telling myself I'm going to work out when I get home or when I finish work is a lie. It's a lie to myself. So I did that for 4 days this week in the morning, or I think it was 3 actually. But I want to do that every weekday, and I think that's maintainable for me, manageable.
I think for me this week, which I realized, is I didn't drink water this week. Because I left my water. I had to go into the office one day this week, and I left my bottle at the office. So I need to go today and go pick it up. I'm actually on vacation this week. So typically I gain on vacation, and that's because I'm at home because I don't have the structure. However, I've been at home for 6 months now. So, I've got the structure of home in place. So I'm going to continue to do what I've been doing from home. I've got some house projects. I'm going to paint this room. Maybe when we talk next week, you will see something different in this space.
Nice.
I went and got paint chips yesterday. What they call them, the little cards, whatever.
That's how you know you're serious, when you get the paint cards.
When you get the paint cards. And I got all the booklets, and so so that's actually, so next week, it's not that I'm not going to focus on health goal stuff, but I've got project stuff, so that'll I'll run the two in tandem, and I'll probably lose weight because I'm relaxed. So
So what do we get if we see the same background next week? I mean, you've already set up our expectation that it's different. So no pressure.
I'm trying to decide because, well, one, I mean, you can see this spot back here on the wall, right? This is my brother's room. And he burned a candle. And so there's no magic eraser that will get rid of that. It's just there. And I'm trying to decide the colors because I want to keep it light and bright in here. So, and also, not pick something that's going to also make me look like an Oompa Loompa as well. No color casts. Cool tones. I must be cool tones because there's so much red up here in this space. So.
Understood. I can't wait. I can't wait to see the final product.
Maybe if I could get something that maybe gives me like a little bit of a tan, that would be, if I could get like a little refracted of that would be great.
Hey,
but no.
Aim high. Big goals.
Yeah. It sounds like I want this paint to do much more than it's meant to do, but that's okay. I have high expectations.
It's like it's not going to be an orangey color, no Oompa Loompa here. We're going to do a little over here. We're going to hide the burn. It shouldn't be there. That's some magic paint. You got to find a really good shade. I'm interested.
It is. So we'll see. So yes, water. I'm going to continue my walking. I really should say walk with 20% run. How about that?
Okay.
And then we have our 5K to look forward to.
Yay.
Yes.
We end up deciding on, ladies.
I'm doing the Yoda one that you posted about in the group.
Okay.
So I'm excited about that.
So when are we doing, my stuff will be here for another 14 to 21 days. I signed up for the Wonder Woman run. I'm really excited about that. And I really hope that my thing doesn't bleed like Ricky's does.
It did, but actually, I can show you the finisher's medal It's very beautiful. And it's like, I don't know if you can hear that, solid.
Wow.
So yes, you'll be happy with the metal, with the wristbands. And yeah, it is a hand wash half zip jersey. And the sleeves are blue and this part is white. So just be careful with your washing.
Yeah,
My Yoda metal better be really, really, really thick like that.
I
too.
think it's going to be, and we'll have to wear them proudly.
Yes.
It's probably got lead in it, you guys, and another couple, like the next doctor's appointment, they're going to be like, what? Something's wrong with these numbers. And we're going to be like, oh, it's the 5Ks killing me. Okay.
But did we say October?
So I think we said something about Labor Day, and then we said something about October. So are we thinking Labor Day we would do a 5K, whatever 5K we wanted to do, and then October we would do like a cider pumpkin fall
themed one? Yeah, that works.
Listen, I did get on Amazon and I did find a pumpkin outfit, and I think I might wear a pumpkin outfit for that 5K that I do.
Well, please no heat strokes or, just get something breathable, please.
It's October. Listen, I think we should socially distance that one, and you guys come do it with me.
Maybe we could all wear the same costume or something similar. Really show out. I'm with you, Erin. I got you.
I might put some, I'll put like a cat headband on. That might be all you get from me.
Ricky, you could be a pumpkin with us.
Yes.
I don't have any dreams of being a pumpkin. It's
not pressure. Peer pressure.
You've already heard me say orange is not in my color wheel, but here I am. What?
Feel the peer pressure, Ricky. Just go ahead and accept it. I think we should do it. Let's commit. I don't know, is it like Power Rangers where if we all put our fist in, it's like we're gonna do it.
That's Captain Planet, isn't that what you're thinking of?
Yes.
Our powers combined.
Our powers combined will save the planet.
So we're going to do Labor Day, and then we're all going to wear our pumpkin outfits for the fall one in October.
Pumpkin outfit, meaning a pumpkin t-shirt. Okay.
Whatever Erin finds that makes.
Let me agree to it before you tell me.
Whatever Erin finds that says.
I know. I do not agree to that.
How little you trust me. How little you trust me.
I've seen your outfits, Erin. I do not have the bravery of you. I don't.
Erin, I'll admit with you. Ricky will be the logical one in the middle, and we'll be on the either side.
Okay, we'll put you in between us. Okay.
I'll be moral support.
There you go.
Can you just wear a shirt that says moral support?
Yes. For these two crazy people. Yeah.
Find one that says they've kidnapped me. Help.
Yes.
Look,
I don't know who this is, but they said Ricky be a pumpkin. So.
It's probably Whitney. But I'll do some makeup. I'll do some face makeup or something cool.
I just heard Isaiah. Did you hear that?
He said, Ricky, do it. Do it, Ricky. That's what he said.
If you do pumpkin makeup, that I will allow that.
Okay.
And I'll dress Isaiah up as a pumpkin.
Oh, see, that is what I want to see. That is adorable.
This is going to become so much bigger than we ever thought. It is not just a regular 5K.
I think we all need to pick a place and we all need to do it together. Okay.
Okay.
Commit.
Even?
Here we go. Yes.
Oh.
All three. It's done now. You can't go back.
I feel like we're in third grade again.
And whoever in the comments, if you watch this in the comments, put a fist bump up and we'll know that you're with us.
Yes. Please.
All right.
But you're going to wear a pumpkin costume too with us. Put a pumpkin there, okay?
You're going to do it.
Ricky, I love watching your face.
She's like,
sometimes I can't hide it. One of my things.
All right. Well, this was definitely, we've promised authentic talk, and this is exactly what would happen in the parking lot at the Weight Watchers meeting. It's usually on occasion, Erin gets very frustrated and blubbers, and then we support one another. So I'm very grateful for you ladies. Thank you very much for talking me off the ledge today.
Of course.
And we didn't even have to have a leader tell us, hey, there's another meeting. If y'all could just... Noelle used to be like, yeah, okay. Whoa. What are we talking about now?
We've got someone new to the program and they're really excited. Could you not ruin it for us right now? Let's keep them hopeful.
Yeah. So, we've made this in a one. At least Nadine was like, all right, ladies, at least y'all are trying. Go ahead.
Bless you.
Yes, bless you.
We love our coaches. They are what make Weight Watchers wonderful. It's truly, I mean, so we're all meeting people, but for us, we really feel like the best experience is being in the meeting room. And you may have to find a couple different meetings to find your coach. And we've been really fortunate to have had Heather, and then Noelle, and then Nadine along the way. So, so we haven't really had to go search for other meetings.
I've searched, not again another day, but I've searched, and I'll tell you, this one is the real one.
I don't know if that was searching or running, but
you know, semantics. Okay, I have seen every leader in the entire DC, Maryland, Virginia area, so I can tell you that this is the real deal. This one right here.
Okay, can you? I know we're over time, and that's fine. So, yes. Can you, for anybody who doesn't know, we say these jokes like this, tell people.
So I went through a dark period. We're going to call it the lost years, where I would run from the scale, and whenever I would have, I wanted a perfect journey. And whenever I didn't get it and I had a gain, I would cancel my Weight Watchers membership. I would create an entirely new Weight Watchers account, and then I would go to a new meeting. And I would run. I mean, I think I've had like 150 usernames and been to like 150 different meetings. And it got to the point where leaders would start to see me and remember me. And I needed like an alibi for a reason why it wasn't true. So I had a twin sister that I created. Her name was Nicole. I took my middle name. I've had Crystal. And yeah, it was just my way of hiding from
Julie once too.
Yeah. And the funny thing is that I always would come back to the Columbia meeting and I recognized Erin and Noelle and Heather. And whenever and one day I decided to stay, even though they recognized me. Because usually I would run because I didn't want to be found out. So Weight Watchers people could look in the system and see my name probably 150 times because I would just run.
And I called when Candace came in. I was like, oh, I recognized her. And I said, well, hi, it's nice to see you back. Welcome back. Because, sometimes if somebody's been to WW and then they haven't been there for a while and they come back, a lot of times they're not coming back because they're happy to come back. They're coming back because they feel ashamed or they feel embarrassed. And I just wanted to be a friendly face to you, just to say, hey, welcome back. It's nice to see you. We're glad you're part of the group.
And I was like, I don't know you. I've never seen you before in my life.
I haven't been here before. And I said,
never. Yeah.
It's just like, oh. And I'm like, and so I thought, well, I see a lot of people. I see a lot of people with what I do. And maybe I have her confused with someone that I've seen from an event, but I also have a pretty steel trap on people as well. And I thought, I think she doesn't want to be seen.
And I figured if I kept my poker face enough that she would let it go. So I was like, oh no, you've never seen me before. I've never done Weight Watchers in my entire life.
And I went, okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay. And then I thought, oh, she's hiding. And then I went, well,
and last thing I have to tell you about what stopped me from running though, Noelle, if she ever watches this, she changed, and you all were there. You all probably just don't remember this. She said, I told her that I joined all these meetings and was running. And she said, you do know that we can just erase your weight history in your one account whenever we need to. And she went over to the computer and hit delete. And it was like I was brand new again. I said, "You've changed my life. I don't have to run anymore. This is the best day of my life." She was like, "Yeah, stop running. Just tell us to delete." I was like, "Oh." So Noelle, wherever you are, thank you for that one day that changed. You're the real MVP, because otherwise I'd be in West Virginia.
It's like the witness protection of WW. Like you started that.
Oh, I feel free now. I've confessed my sins.
So great. Well, it's nice to have you with us today, Nicole.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to see you for the first time. Yes.
Oh my gosh. All right, ladies. Well, I wish you a very good week, and we'll continue to post in the group. And if anybody wants to share their weeks, I know the theme this week for WW is breakfasts. So maybe each of us can, post a breakfast that we eat this week, just for maybe a little bit of inspiration to kind of shake some things up. That might be nice. Have a good week.
Yeah.
Let's conquer our goals.
And do so non-sarcastically.
Yes, I love that.
All right.
Great.
Bye.
Bye.